Hey guys, I am John Carrick and today we are doing 100 Bullets number 13. And considering that there's like 13 families in the trust and that the 13 plays such a big part symbology-wise in this comic, you'd expect a better cover, but it is what it is. In this one, Dizzy is meeting with a guy named Mr. Branch. The last one we did was number 10. 10 or 11, yeah, number 10. I don't have 11 and 12, so there's been 2 issues that we missed. But just imagine this is the first, episode that you're seeing on TV. It could happen, especially could happen in the old days, not so much now. But anyhow, Dizzy and Mr. Branch are hanging out in Paris. She's complimenting the coffee and everything about it. She loves Paris. She's intoxicated by it. And she asks him why he's there, and he is very paranoid and aggressive with her. She's asking him like, "Look, why are you so hostile toward me? I'm just here to meet you. I'm not here to kill you." Like he's asking her if she's there to kill him and everything. He doesn't know why she's there. He does not trust her at all. But he's taking her around, showing her Paris, getting her some coffee, showing her the sights, and they are having a conversation about the 100 bullets and about how she got this gun and he got one too, and who is Agent Graves, and he doesn't know anything about her. Why should he trust her? And I remember someone saying about the digital version of this comic that it's too clean. And digital, yes, but for the print, this is matte paper, kind of newsprint. And these are just earth tones, pastels. There's not a lot of gradients, not a lot of highlights. It's very realistic. I think it works for this. I think it works just fine that it's clean. And this was done in the early 90s, so digital coloring was still pretty new. And as they're getting to know each other, Mr. Branch is asking her about where she grew up, Chicago, etc., etc., and he tells her about how Mr. Graves gave him a briefcase with a gun and 100 bullets in it, and he did not believe the story. So he decided, being a reporter, he would test it out. And he had a cop check out the gun. And the cop looked at it and brought it back and told him it was registered, but wouldn't tell him anything else about it. So he never did figure out if who was registered to, it's not registered to him, etc., etc. And then, because he couldn't leave well enough alone, and he certainly didn't want to go out and just kill someone on this creepy agent say-so, he went and bought a dog, took it to the park, and killed it in front of everyone, and waited for the cops to show up. And when they did, he was arrested, taken to jail, and 2 hours later they gave him the gun back and let him go. No explanations, no answers. Have a nice day, sir. So, he never did use it, but Dizzy did. And then there's this bit where they're out like on the sidewalk, and this guy in a leather jacket comes up to him, to Mr. Branch, and they both look over at Dizzy. They obviously say something about her. This is actually a pretty good cover. And then the leather jacket guy wanders off. While she's having her sandwich, her baguette. Then they go to a bar. And everyone seems to notice her. It is interesting that they jumped right to this bar named Mon Ami. Yeah, they jumped right to it. So, now you could chalk it up the way everyone's sort of regarding them to the fact that it's a bar, or the fact that they're foreigners in Paris and that, they're strangers in a strange land. But there is something more at play here. And so Dizzy is getting the backstory about Agent Graves and about how this guy doesn't trust her and what he's, why is she there and blah, blah, blah. people keep wandering in and looking at her, and then he says something that Dizzy particularly does not like. So she gets up to go use the restroom, and it's pretty foul. She gets back, and her jacket is still hanging on her chair, but everyone else is gone. They have all gone out to the alley, and they are waiting for her. When it comes to storytelling, this is good. I mean, it's pretty good. It's the banter back and forth between Mr. Branch and her is great. Obviously, they don't want to be there. In a movie, in a scene, no one's happy. No one's there because they want to be there. No one's having the time of their life. So you need conflict to drive the story forward. Or conflict is a very useful tool to drive the story forward. And there's a really good example of this kind of thing, of this kind of a scam, this kind of a plot twist in the movie Once Upon a Time in Mexico, where Johnny Depp plays a CIA agent, and he is meeting with a corrupt Mexican official at a bullfight, and they're in the stands watching the Matador down there with the bull, and Johnny Depp explains that he's bet against the Matador, and it's kind of like exactly what they're doing with the president, that they're betting against the president. They're going to have a coup and take him out. And the official's like, yeah, well, it doesn't always go the way you planned. And Johnny Depp says, you're right, you have to take it, you have to build in your own advantage. And he has had a taser wired into the Matador's suit. And when he hits a button, the Matador gets tased and freezes up, and the bull gets him. And then Johnny Depp and his thugs, his crew, go out and collect on the bet. I think that Danny Trejo was one of his crew members. They go and collect on the bet, and they collect all the money. Obviously, they bet against the Matador, and hand over the money to the corrupt official. So that's a little bit, Desi is the same kind of thing. Desi has been set up, and everyone in the bar was in on it, and she's now got a fight. She doesn't know this. She thinks this is a rape. For all she knows, she's being murdered. She has no idea what was waiting for her out in the alley. Branch just kept making a bunch of fucking snide comments. And so now she has to fight this guy. And she does. She blasts him in the face with an elbow. And Branch wins all the money because he bet on her. And she gets her cut. She takes the money because he didn't even tell her he was doing this. And but then we get this bit at the very end. So this is a little bit. He's been asking her all along how she knew how to fight. I guess back in the last issue she had some fight. He's asking her if she knew Hapkido. She's like, what? I don't know any of that shit. And he's like, yes you do. You know Hapkido, Jiu-Jitsu, Wing Chun. He's telling her all these martial arts she knows. So there's some kind of MK Ultra thing going on because he asks her if the symbol 13 means anything to her. And that is a really smart way to have drawn it, where it's the only thing that stands out on his palm. In real life, it wouldn't look quite like that, but that is an artistic license that is allowed. It's really well done. So yeah, this is a good comic. It's not a great comic in this issue in terms of art and storytelling, but it's better than just about anything else out there, and you certainly don't need superheroes. And there's some line here about you don't need superheroes. And then you've got Superman on the back. So, yeah. Today's episode is brought to you by The Trials of Ash. Number 1, Legacy of a Mad Scientist, and number 2, Legend of Ashley Fox. Amazing science fiction fantasy stories for you on Amazon, Smashwords, or right here for a limited time only as audiobooks on YouTube. And we also have the King of Hearts. This is a king or the ace? King of Hearts. Conflicted Deck 2. This is a good one. This goes right along with this. Like, who do you trust, right? And what do you trust them with? So, in this one, it's the end of the world, and people are trying to put the government back together again. They've started military and police departments, and they are going door to door, house to house, to confiscate resources. people who are hoarding food, meaning if you were smart and you saved up before the apocalypse, you are now a hoarder and an enemy of the people. And so they're going around collecting food, and you know your stuff is hidden really well, but there's a relative of yours on the police crew. Now, if this, depending on, and it says that this brother has told this relative, it doesn't say brother, it says relative, has told them about your stash. So I'm going to guess that's an in-law, which is still a relative, a brother-in-law or a sister-in-law, because immediate family probably wouldn't do that to you. And then I'm going to go ahead and blame you, blame the writer, blame the person who talked about having these supplies and having them hidden and where they were hidden. Maybe he didn't say where they were hidden, but they know that you have them. So what do you do when they show up? There's a couple things you can do. You can roll over. You can give them up. You can say, hey, I'm part of the new future. I'm here to be bigger, better tomorrow. Or you could shoot the guy in the face. Or you could do both. I don't know how you do both. Give them to them and then kill the guy out of vengeance and spite. So yeah, that would be doing both. That way your family's cleared, and then so you could do that and then kill the relatives later. I wouldn't wait. I would do it right there in front of everyone. Give up the supplies so your family and kids are safe, and then execute that relative, that in-law. That would be fucking sick. That would be the way to go. So, there is, and if this, so I did want to talk about whether or not this story is representative of the MK Ultra stuff, like where she and Cole sort of Matrix trained without their knowledge and then had their memories wiped. There is a link in the description for a 3-hour interview with a woman named Arizona Wilder, and she claims to have been MK Ultra. And whether or not you believe her story, the fiction part of the story is awesome, so I highly recommend it. There's a bunch of links in there. Michael Sarion, I know we get a lot of traffic from Michael Sarion searches. Michael Sarion is a huge inspiration. I haven't read the Connor McDarry stuff yet, but I will. There's the last chapter that I just wrote has a whole bunch of stuff about the Tuatha De Danann. I don't know how to say that, but yeah, it's stuff's great. This is so much fun. So I hope everything's going great for you guys. I hope you're having a great Friday, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.